Hi friends, it's Mr. Alex from Adams Memorial Library, and you guessed it, I'm back with another installment of the Online Origami Club. Now, last time we made a swan out of origami, but this time I thought we would make a different kind of bird, maybe like one that you would find in your backyard. Now, before we begin, don't forget that you can stop here at the library to pick up your Online Origami Club kit. And in this kit is going to be all sorts of paper with different colors and patterns that'll be perfect for the projects that I'm about to show you. So before we begin, I'll show you the couple of things that we'll need to gather up in order to get started, and then we'll begin folding our origami bird. Just like all of our other origami projects, we're going to need a couple of things. We'll need to grab a practice sheet of paper, and this can be notebook paper, construction paper, or anything that you have at home that you're going to use to practice making this piece of origami. I use this origami paper here, but like I said, you can use anything that you have. Then we're going to need a final sheet of paper. Mine's going to come out of my Online Origami Club kit, but this is the piece of paper that you want to make your final product out of, so make sure you grab that. Then if your practice sheet of paper is not a perfect square, you're going to need a pair of scissors to trim it into one, and you'll also need a marker, crayon, or other decorating supplies that you can use to make your project unique and special to you. So go ahead and gather all that up, and let's get started. And now it's time to make our origami bird. So the first step that we're going to need to take is we're going to need to figure out which side of our paper we want to be the outside of our bird, and we're going to fold it to the inside of the fold I'm about to show you. So we're going to take our piece of paper and fold it in half diagonally, again, making sure that the pattern that we want on the outside of the bird is folded toward the inside. So since I want this candy pattern on the outside, I'm going to take and fold my paper in half diagonally like this so that it is on the inside of the fold. Now at this point, we're going to take and lay our paper so that we have one point here. And then we're going to take the top layer of our paper, so not both layers, just the top one, and we are going to fold like this and make a nice sharp crease. Now, something to keep in mind, and there are going to be a couple points like this on our project, is that these points can sometimes get a little bit tricky to fold and can sometimes tear. So you want to be very gentle anytime you have a point, take it nice and easy, and make those nice sharp creases. So after I've made that fold, our project's going to look something like this. And then all we're going to do is we're going to take and fold our project in half. So we're just going to fold the top part down, make those nice sharp creases, and that's going to give us a shape that looks something like this. You should have a triangle that essentially has this piece here in the middle, which is actually the focus of the next step of our project. So once we have this shape, what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece here, this layer, and we are going to pull it out. We're going to pull it out so that it makes a shape that looks like this. And I'll show you what that looks like on camera. So our project initially started looking like this, and then we just pull this flap out like this and fold it until we have a shape that looks like this. Now that we have this shape, the next step to do is to take this bottom point here, take the top layer, and we're going to fold it to this corner here. It's very important that it's this corner because although the paper will fold both ways, if you don't fold to this corner, the one that you can see already has the layer on it, then the future steps won't work out quite right with your bird. So we're going to take this layer here, fold it up to the top corner, just like that. Then we're going to flip our project over and we're going to do the exact same thing. Give it a nice sharp crease, and then we'll have a shape that looks something like this. Once we've got a shape like this, then what we want to do is take each of these two outside flaps or layers, and we're going to fold them down to this point on our project here. So we're going to take one layer, fold it down just like this. So taking this layer, folding it down to here, flip over our project, and do the same thing, taking this layer down to this point here. make some nice sharp creases, and we'll have a project that looks like this. Now, this may not look a whole lot like a bird quite yet, but we need to give it some features. The first thing we're going to do in order to give it some features is to give it a face and a beak. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to separate the top part of our project right here, and we're going to fold our paper down into that point. And you can adjust and manipulate the paper in a way that you'll have a little triangle peeking out that looks like a beak. Now, it is important to make sure that you fold exactly down that center line, because if you don't, it may not look quite right. It may not have this sharp point that forms the beak. So you're going to want to fold right down the middle and have a shape that looks like that. Our next step is that we are going to round the front corner right here. And in order to do that, we're just going to open up our bird here at the bottom. And we're going to take each layer and we're going to fold down in and make a little triangle like that. So we'll have one side like that, flip it over, do the same thing with the other side, squash it off, and have something that looks like this. So now the front of our bird is a little bit rounded. Finally, we want to give our bird a tail, and in order to do this, we're going to flip our project, open it up like this, and fold the point here down like this into a triangle. And you should see, it might be a little bit hard on camera, there will be a center crease that was the middle of your bird, and you want to make sure that this point in the triangle stays on that crease as you fold it back. So we're going to go ahead and fold that back, crease it off, and then we'll have something that looks like this. In order to turn this into our bird's tail, we're going to take this front point here that sort of swivels, and we're going to pull it back just like this. Now, you'll notice that it's pulling on the bottom of my project as well, so you may need to lift up these outer flaps here that are going to be the wings. You may need to get those out of the way while you're doing it. So we'll pull on this point here, move our wings out of the way, and have a tail that looks like this. Now, at this point, our bird is complete. The only thing left to do is to make sure that everything is tucked in and then open up our bird's wings. At this point, we have successfully completed our origami bird. And now comes the fun part, where we can take our marker, crayon, or other decorating tools and make this bird extra special. So go ahead and practice, and I'll show you what my final origami bird looks like at the end of the video. After some practice and a little bit of really cool decorating, I took my piece of paper from my Online Origami Club kit and I made this bird here. And I think it turned out wonderfully. Now, don't forget that I'd like to see your origami bird, and you can send those pictures on over to us at kids@adamslib.org. You can also follow the library on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to get all sorts of updates not only about the Online Origami Club, but also the other great programs that we're doing here at the library. So as always, happy crafting!